Right, so we thought we'd make a short series of videos about this, about the T5 flatbed, or T6 flatbed as it is now. Anybody that will have followed us for a while would have seen this thing's had quite a few faces. We've quite often referred to it as having more faces than
Michael Jackson
when we first received it, and it's about to have another one again. So going back probably 2 or 3 months ago, we decided that this hadn't been moving. It was just kind of sitting here. It looked pretty. It went from the yard to the front to inside to have some work done, and never really got to go anywhere since the show season hasn't happened this year with the whole coronavirus thing. So instead of just sitting on it, we thought probably best thing to do is stick it on the market and let somebody else have the opportunity to use it. Oh, hello dog. I asked Mikey to do a short video and a walk round for us to post it on Facebook to try and sell it, and when I watched the video back I just decided I couldn't do it. This thing kind of made us as a business, or made us on social media, and loads of people followed this and things that had happened to it over the time, so it was I just couldn't do it. Now if we were keeping it, it was time for it to have another face again, so that's what we've decided to do. So we thought we'd make this video in a few episodes just to show you some of the things that we're going to do to it and the transformation from this to how it will eventually look. It might be a massive mistake. The ideas I've got in mind for this might not be everybody's cup of tea. In fact, I'm sure they won't be. It will be very much Marmite, as you can see on the door now. But yeah, you've got to do it, haven't you? Worth a try. There's certainly some things that have not hugely common, and there's a few of the bits that we've decided will possibly be a bit out there and not to everybody's taste, probably not even to my taste by the time we finish, but you don't know till you try, do you? So yeah, so back to the truck. I'll share some images now of what it's looked like over the time we've had it, from when we first received it as just a scabby old Irish steel merchant's van to its T5.1 facelift that was in Meteor Grey, which was, I loved that look, it looked really good, and then onto this, which is the chrome yellow T6 front end that's on it now. It's had I don't know how many different sets of wheels along the way, lots and lots of changes, but yeah, we'll just show you some pictures of different phases it's had in the time that we've been using it so far. So where do we go from here? Well, actually we've already painted the back on the bed there grey, so you can see that's been done already, but that's just a starter. It went off its MOT and failed miserably. The arches are all, the sills are all rusty, so it's going to have a couple of new sills put in and a few other little bits for the MOT, nothing major. And from there maybe some more power, and here comes the lorry, so I'll have to shut this off. So what's the plan? Well, yeah, so the bed's already gone grey. We'll put some pictures of that Blake's done of that. That was a really nice woody kind of oaky dark colour. Looked really good. Now I don't like the way it looks, but that's part and parcel of the new look. Hopefully it all comes together in the end. So first job is get the welding done, sort all that out, because it is really badly rusty under there. The first time it was painted it was kind of just disguised, I suppose, and it's kept being disguised, so let's get it all done properly. And then it's down to getting it really low. So right now it's sitting on ABP with no different cutting work, it's just standard drop on those. So this weekend Mikey's going to pull it in and fit a new subframe. So having a subframe raise, airbox raise, front notched, ECU raise, and hopefully we can get it a bit lower. Well, we definitely will get lower. So looking forward to seeing how that pans out, and from there that will probably be the first episode sorted, and then episode 2 we'll start working on the interior. Got some cool ideas for inside, new headlining, A pillars, B pillars, retrim the seats because the seats are currently yellow, so they'll have to change with the colour of the van, and some audio upgrades as well along the way. And from there, new wheels, new front end, new lights, and then a colour change, probably last of all. Somewhere in there we might sneak in some more power. It's had some modification anyway, but I think probably we're considering some more power on the way, but we'll see how we go with that one. But yeah, keep watching and follow the progress.
So today's the big day. The flatbed is going to start having the makeover. It's going under the knife. We've got a modified subframe, Jack from Dropworks, or Dropworks Jack as people know him, cut and welded that up for us. We've got some custom made engine mount razors that Darkside Dave made us to our measurements. Came through with them really quick, so thank you Dave, that'll help out massively. So we can do the subframe and engine raise on the flatbed, and also had it powder coat, a lovely grey colour as well, so it looks smart underneath but doesn't stand out too much. So thanks Chris from Lowdown for organising that, Jack and Louis from Science Effects actually came and dropped that off for us and made the 150-mile journey, which is kind of him. I'm going to do some videos of it, videos of the progress, and show you some close-ups of a few bits and bobs, so stay tuned. So front end's off now. You don't necessarily have to do that to remove the subframe, or you don't in fact have to do that to remove the subframe. But while it's all off and while we're doing the subframe, I thought we'd take a bit more off in the arch, do a bit more cutting, try to get it that bit lower as well, just to make it extra noticeable. So first things first, cut the notches for the dry shaft that's welded in as well, just there. Obviously going a lot lower and the engine's sitting higher. It does sit on the chassis leg itself, so we've had to notch that. But nice thick plate being used. Welded both sides of there. That'll be seam sealed up, under sealed. Probably going to under seal all inside the arch on this as well, because it's going to have a paint job. So we thought, you know, while it's all off, keep it nice and tidy. So I've removed a fair few things that attach to the subframe, things that are, well, you need to remove before dropping the subframe itself, like the steering rack and the front arms, just disconnected them from the ball joints. Now we're going to give it a go to take out the subframe. So I'm on my own, so it's a bit difficult on your own. I've got a pallet, I've got the pallet truck. I'm going to see if we can get it out, drop it onto that, lower it down. It's not ideal, but you know, it's saved my back a little bit. So I'll put a time lapse on now and we'll watch the process of that. There you go, that's the subframe out now. That worked pretty well actually. Had to get another pallet on there, stack it up, but you know, that's life a little bit all the way through. Yeah, it's out. Got to raise the engine now, so I'm going to support the engine in a minute, take off the other two mounts that are still on there, and do a bit of welding. And on this side, down here, I've already cut the notch out, but we've got to come across and go 30mm higher up there, re-weld the captive nuts in. So I've cut out the OEM captive nuts that hold the gearbox mounting, and I've cut the chassis and welded it all 30mm higher up to cope with how much the subframe has been raised by. Welded in. I didn't do too many shots because it's getting a bit late now, it's getting dark out, so just trying to crack on really. But yeah, that's all been welded up. The OEM plates there, and then I've plated in two bits of tube there, nice thick tube, and then under sealed and seam sealed, so it's nice and neat, shouldn't rust through. So I have now mounted up all the engine mounts, so that one's bolted up, and over to the other side you may be able to see just through here we've got the spacers that Darkside Dave made for us, all nicely in, and then I've mounted a couple of ancillaries to the subframe itself, and that's now ready to go in. That's the new subframe in, bolted up. I've still got to mount a few things like the exhaust and everything tomorrow, but calling it a night now. It's about 2 in the morning, but good night on it. Tomorrow we're going to do some more arch cutting, get it just that little bit lower. So that's the subframe completely installed and fitted now. Fitted everything else up, like the steering rack this morning. All the wishbones back in, everything like that. It's mounted up really nice, looks really smart. And as mentioned this already, the flatbed failed its MOT sadly on the sills being rotten. Now it's up on the ramp. I've had a quick look at them. It's more substantial than we thought actually, but not a problem. It's already booked in to get sorted out. It's going to get both sills done while it's there, just to keep it fresh. We don't want it happening again, so it's going to have a complete revamp.
So part of the project on the flatbed was to get it as low as we could, and that involved quite a bit of extra work. It was already kind of low, but there was plenty more that could be done to get it absolutely as low as possible. Now we've just been super busy here and we've not had a chance to get it on the ramps at all in amongst customers' work. So Mikey, the legend, worked a whole weekend, silly hours on his own to get it done. And he will just run you through now what he did, and then afterwards we'll show you the results.
To get it lower, first of all, we cut the seam. A lot of people cut the seam out, and we actually bent it over and welded it up, so the structure is still there and it's still as strong as it should be. We've also raised the ECU and the battery over this side. As you can see, we pushed all that up and welded it up, seam seal. The seam seals made it look a bit messy, to be honest with you, but it's just protecting it, stop it from rusting. Then on this side, we've gone further back with the wing bracket as far as you can go, really, without burning the paint on the inside of the door or anything. You see the tyres sat on there still. So that's all for other than the notching. So that was to get it lower. The notching for the actual subframe itself is there, so the notch starts just over here, and that's for your drive shaft, and then it goes all the way across and it finishes about here. It's all nice and tidy, big thick plate welded in, and that's your gearbox mount. It's just been raised up to 30mm for the subframe itself. So there's not too much to see. All the work's been done by Jack under here. Again, I've notched out for the drive shaft on the passenger side, welded in again with the plate. You can't see it through there, but I did some shots earlier on of the engine spacers that Darkside Dave made for us. They were 30mm to space that side engine mount up that bolts to the chassis leg. So obviously everything under here gets raised up with it, the standard, so you don't have to modify anything else because it's all pushed up on the subframe with the mounts that Jack's made. Right, so inside now, we'll just show you what Mikey's done here. You'll have to forgive the state of it here because this is an old van that's had a few different faces, so under here it's still a bit tatty, but yeah, explain what you've done here, Mikey. So normally you've got your airbox in here. We got rid of the airbox just to save some of the room. Mounted this cone filter just to make it a bit easier, and again this skin's been cut and raised up and welded, seam sealed up just to keep that strength and just to keep it looking tidy in there. So fitting this cone filter just made the job a lot easier, so you've not got to relocate the airbox. PM Tuning sent us this. It's one that they supply, so it seemed a perfect opportunity to fit it in there and save Mikey a lot of work messing around with the original airbox. You can't see over this side what's been done, but over there ECU and battery and ECU have been raised and then all been mounted back in again with your OEM location. So yeah, there we go. So I mentioned previously that it had gone for its MOT and it failed miserably on welding, so without having a full respray, now is the perfect opportunity to have new seals put in, so they've all been done. Done a tidy enough job. And under sealed there and rebuilt all this one because this was crippled by somebody who previously put a jacking point on it, and it's all been under sealed, so from that point of view it just needs its MOT retest and then it can go off to paint once we've tinkered around with it a bit more. But looking forward to showing you what it looks like with its new colour. But that's a couple of episodes on from here. So now we'll get it off the ramp and take it outside and show you what it looks like aired out. So stage one complete, that's how it sits, still on the 19s on a, sorry, I've done this before, haven't I? Was it 235/35 profile tyre on an 8J, so ordinarily would have a bit more stretch, but they're my winter wheels that I normally run on the TSI or whenever I'm off to the Alps somewhere, but they'll do for now while we're moving it backwards and forwards between paint shops and garages and so on. So we'll just get a bit closer and show you how it sits when it's fully aired out from this side. So you can see it's tucked in 19s nicely. The jacking points are sitting on the floor now. The subframe is very near the floor. There, you can see that. I think you can see that. But it sits well. So we've had the sample paint colour back from Paintworks. We had an idea on paint which we weren't sure about, and it's going to be very much a Marmite colour. You're going to love it or hate it. And we were unsure ourselves, so we asked Steve if he could paint a panel for us, and it's back and we love it. So at this point, Danny, make it black and white or do something jazzy, so there we go. That's going to be the final colour, which is
pretty rad, which hopefully you can't see, but we've managed to get our fabric supplier to make us some GT style tartan with the same colour tone through it, so it's going to be a bit different to stuff that's been seen before, and a nice one-off addition just to this vehicle. So pretty exciting. We should be able to show you some more of that in the next episode. Make sure you like and subscribe to the video. The next episode will take you through the next stage of this, so there's quite a bit left to do. I think probably the next stage will mostly be interior. We're trimming the headline in, the A pillars, the B pillars, doing pillar builds for the audio. All the seats are being retrimmed. We've got something a little bit special we've managed to have done for that. And then the third episode after that probably will be power, and then we'll finish with paint, I think. Most likely paint. Something different's going to happen with the stack ship, we're not totally sure, and it will keep evolving because we keep having ideas as we go along, but it's going to be a never-ending project. We'll get there sometime soon, but that's episode 1 done, and make sure you come back and check out episode 2 soon.